My initial feeling was fear. I feared that they thought something was wrong with the way I was, with who I am. As I sat in that small, hot, cramped room with my grandparents sitting behind me and my medicine man sitting before me with his various cultural tools laid out, I had this odd mix of fear and love, because this was one of the rare occasions that my grandparents focused our Cree culture with me in mind. My grandmother spoke for me at first, saying that I had expressed wrongdoing feelings about wanting to transition into a man. No, that's not it, I interjected. I feel confusion about my path in life. Medicine man, Johnny was his name. He was a hefty fellow with long black hair, thick glasses, and he wheezed while breathing due to his asthma. And with every parable of feeling I put forth, Johnny grunted a grunt of reassurance. I feel and I fear that my grandparents won't accept me as me. I fear that the sexual abuse I experienced when I was younger just hindered my ability to see and accept myself as I truly am, a man. And Johnny kept having to reposition himself on the small pillow he was sitting on due to the uncomfortable heat. And the sweat on his head started to bead, and you could see pieces of his hair stick to his forehead. Don't get me wrong though, Johnny was no beast. He was a kind man who was intensely in tune with his spirituality, because he was chosen very young to become a medicine man. His life was devoted to teaching and practicing the native culture as it was taught to him. How long have you felt like you were a boy? Johnny asked. Well, for as long as I can remember, I replied. Johnny gave me this small stick. It was about 4 inches long, and it had 2 yellow feathers and 1 white tied to the base of it. He said for me to use it as a prayer tool, so my prayers could reach to the heavens, to our God, to our Otawiana. And then Johnny took out this flat disc-like rock about the size of my palm, and it had a hole in the center of it. And he took this rock, and he looked at me from head to toe. You have a spirit in you. At the base of your skull, where your head and your neck meet. And suddenly, in that point in time, my whole life made so much sense. I've read about this in books, I've heard rumors about it, but never have I thought or even considered that I, myself, is a two-spirited person. Johnny then said, I'm going to take this rock, and I'm going to pray for you. And for the most part, he prayed in Cree, And due to my lack of knowledge of the language, he said bits and parts in English. He spoke of pity, of a wandering mind, of a lost path, and the natural attraction between a man and a woman. My heart sank, because I realized that my spiritual teacher thought something was wrong with me. Somewhere I knew in my gut this was going to happen. Somehow I knew that this would turn into a pity party, and they would make me feel like an abomination. And then I remembered that stick in my hand. And I started. You put me on this earth for a reason. You know it alone. There's nothing wrong with me. I know it. You know it. Why don't they know? I'm asking for your guidance to use the gifts that you have granted me to my fullest ability. There is nothing wrong with me.